Switch 2 just launched, and guess who woke up at 4 a.m. to buy it? Yes, me. My friends were convinced there was going to be a huge line of scalpers at our local grocery store, so they decided to get up that early to combat them. There was like 4 other guys there at most. Even the store staff was on edge, and there was like 2 security guards at the gate for the 5 of us, because even the store expected more than what actually showed up. I live in a hick town. There will be no scalpers here. There was also the store lady who was trying to sell us their store credit card, and I just had no patience for that kind of thing, so I just walked away mid-conversation and set up my tripod.
This is a microphone. Are you guys excited for the Switch 2 launch?
No. Yes.
So who's your virgin? Let's put it right out. Right out of it. So we got 5 versions here.
In the actual store, they rolled out a huge metal prison cart that had all the Switch 2s locked in it. I've heard from a friend that they actually did this for the PS5 and Xbox Series launches as well. And only the actual store manager had the key for the thing, which is super interesting. The Switch 2s have committed heinous crimes and must be locked up. And yes, before you say anything, I willingly spent more money to not buy the bundle and buy Mario Kart World separate, even though it was available. I am a huge advocate for physical media. I don't like buying games digitally. If I have the option to buy a game physically, I am going to do that usually. The one time I broke that rule within recent memory was buying Animal Crossing the day after Christmas, because no store carried it, and I still regret that decision. Let's start actually unboxing it now. First up is the Pro Controller. Not my Pro Controller, my friend's Pro Controller. And honestly, the new joysticks are an absolute massive improvement. They do feel really nice compared to the old ones. The back buttons are a little squishy though and hard to tell when you press them, and I'm kind of sad to see the transparent plastic go. But overall, the new Pro Controller is just the old one, but slightly different. And you're gonna hear that a lot for the rest of the video. The console itself is just a bigger Switch. Like, the more I use the thing, the more surprised I am at exactly how similar the Switch 1 and Switch 2 are. Everything about the Switch 2 is just more Switch per Switch. If you're gonna be buying the Switch 2 and expecting it to be as different as the GameCube to the Wii was, or the Wii to the Wii U was, you're gonna be really disappointed. Speaking of generational gaps, I think it's super interesting with this generation. Nintendo just kind of did what worked last time. Historically, Nintendo's really never done this. The closest thing I can think of is the NES to SNES, where the SNES was just a faster, better, stronger NES. Even the aforementioned Wii to Wii U was a completely different games console. But the Switch 1 to Switch 2 is just, it's the same console. It plays the same games. It has the same controllers. Everything is the same. I feel like this jump between Switch 1 and Switch 2 is even more muted than the mainstream consoles. Like, PS3 to PS4 was a huge jump, as Xbox One to Xbox Series was. But like, at least those consoles felt different. This one doesn't. It really feels like Nintendo was just making the Switch Pro and decided, you know what? Let's make this its own generation. It's like if they made the 3DS to new 3DS, but instead of just saying the new 3DS was a mid-generation upgrade, they advertised the new 3DS as its own entirely separate console, when it really wasn't. Because of this, as well as the price, I am very interested to see how the Switch 2 will do in terms of sales. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to be very disappointed when they realize Switch 2 is just a Switch 1, but bigger and more powerful. And that also leads me to the price. I personally paid about $200 for the thing, but that was because I got an employee discount from my friend. I've been returning bottles like a true Michigander, and my friend offered to front some of the cost of the system because I said I didn't plan on buying it due to the price earlier. So I basically had my hand forced. And controversially, I don't think the price of the system is that bad at all. $450 for the system that's right in line with the PS5 and Xbox. But I guess like the majority of people, I wish it was cheaper, obviously, but I don't absolutely despise the price. What I do hate is the price of the games. $80? Are you shitting me? I can understand raising the price of the console. I mean, manufacturing costs have risen, and there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world right now that would affect the price of hardware, but the game being $80 is just inexcusable. I really think the games industry as a whole has wanted to raise the game prices for a while now, and Nintendo was just the first ones ballsy enough to actually do it. Now, Xbox is following suit, and I genuinely wonder if Sony isn't very far behind. I mean, they already raised the price of the PS5 once before. Anyways, actual real thoughts of the real system. Like I said, it's just the Switch 1 but more. That's literally all it is right now. I mean, there are exclusive games like any launch console has, but the vast majority of the games from Switch 1 just work on Switch 2. I think there's literally like 5 or 10 games in the entire catalog of Switch 1 games that don't work. The Switch 2 is just more Switch 1. One thing I do have to mention is the card slot is a little funky. It screams like a Gen 1 console, like 3DS was, as in it physically looks really overbuilt. With the bigger console size, I think it's really obvious that Nintendo isn't using full-size joysticks, even more so than the Switch 1, which I personally think is a bit of a weak point. The Switch 2 also kind of screws with your muscle memory because it's so similar to the first one that because the buttons are ever so slightly arranged, it will take you a few good, like, rounds of Mario Kart to feel good. And it does feel good. I do like the controllers-ish. There's only so much you can do with this form factor, let's be honest. And the new latching mechanism for the controllers are super cool. And after holding it, I really don't think they're gonna snap off or anything. But I think that the new latching mechanism is a little bit more fugly than the Switch 1, as in, when you're putting the controllers back on the console, there's a little more mental effort to it. But that might also literally be the fact that I'm just not used to doing it yet. And unsurprisingly, the games run totally fine. The only issue I had was that me and my friends were playing 4-player split-screen Mario Kart World, and it was lagging pretty good. But single player runs flawlessly, and any other game that ran badly on Switch 1, rest assured, will run flawlessly on Switch 2. Even Minecraft Bedrock, which was notoriously the worst version of Minecraft still being actively updated, runs way better. Dare I say it, it's even bearable to play. The most hype for a game I had was actually Epic Mickey. On Switch 1, the game was making me motion sick as it had very frequent FPS drops, so I kinda had to stop playing the game midway through, but I am so happy that it runs like butter on the Switch 2, albeit with a 30 FPS cap. But I have no doubt if they were to unlock that cap, it would hit 60 just fine. Honestly, that might even be a setting I'm not screwed with yet. And as of right now, those are my first impressions with the Switch 2. I've only played for 2 or 3 hours at most, and my opinion might change as I play it more. But right now, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, it's just Switch 1, but more. And this is also the first console I've had to kind of like defend my purchasing decision to strangers. I bought the Switch 2 because I think it's cool, end of story. I don't need some deep, introspective rationale as to why I bought the Switch 2. I just think it's neat, okay? Anyways, kids, remember intolerate intolerance, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.
I bite at the hand that feeds me, slap at the face that eats me. Some kind of animal cannibal made impressions on me.